Bond 26, as I think we can safely call it, gets a writer in Stephen Knight. 007 Road to a Million gets a season 2. I went to see On Her Majesty's Secret Service on the big screen with a couple of Bond friends. And you can still get into the book launch on August 16th. Let's get into it.
The name is Bond. James Bond.
So I literally, seriously, I'm not exaggerating one bit, just finished a podcast yesterday about nothing more than the new season of 007 Road to a Million. Finished recording it, editing it, and literally just sat down. It honestly could not have been 5 minutes later before they announced the new writer, Stephen Knight. And I said, okay, well, there goes that, all that work. So, hey, how's it going? It's your good buddy, head of section, Joseph Darlington. It is August 1. The summer is underway. We just had a storm last night, which kind of cooled things down a little bit, so it's kind of nice out. So, kind of looking forward to my walk today. But yeah, it was a good month. July was pretty eventful, and I gotta say, I'm starting to have what I'm starting to call a pretty good Bond summer. There's been a couple little things that have happened already this summer. I've got a couple more things lined up, some big, some small. So yeah, things are shaping up nicely. But why don't we talk about the big news that dropped yesterday? Deadline. Next James Bond pick at Amazon MGM Studios to be penned by Stephen Knight. By the way, I said in my intro, I think we can safely start calling it Bond 26 because I honestly think up until now, we've all been sort of concerned that, you know, the next Bond incarnation could be streaming, could be who knows what it's going to be, could be a period piece, whatever. We kind of didn't know how that was going to shape up. I think with the recent announcements, I'm feeling, at least with the new director, Denis Villeneuve, who is obviously a heavy hitter, this writer who is obviously no slouch, and I think a lot of people are saying he's a great pick for Bond. I think we could at least take comfort and know that the next Bond project is going to be a film, and it's going to be a very serious film, not serious in tone, but that they're going to treat this with the respect and gravitas it deserves. And so I think this is all great stuff, and I think Bond. So I think it's safe to say we're looking forward to Bond 26. So who is Stephen Knight? Now I have to admit, he's got a pretty rich resume on IMDb. I have not seen a lot of the things he's done, but I've heard great things about all of them. The biggest one, I think, is Peaky Blinders with Cillian Murphy. I literally popped it on yesterday for maybe about 10 minutes just to sort of get the feel and the tone. And I was already starting to get it was interesting to me because obviously it's a period show set in Britain. So I'm saying to myself, okay, so even though if I had to take a guess, I do not think that Bond 26 will be a period film set in the 50s or 60s. I think it's going to be modern. But I like the fact that this guy has some of his writing chops, writing period films, which kind of tells me he knows how to reach back in time to find themes and story elements that would resonate today. And he, more to the point, he's writing about the sensibilities of a period piece. He's not a writer who writes consistently modern and may now have to try to discover. Fleming was of another time, so I want the writer to be familiar with writing out of time, if that makes sense. I want old school sensibilities to show through in his writing. So I think that's kind of an interesting layer in this. So we'll see. He did the Emmy-nominated Taboo. Again, did not see that. There's several shows that he was part of. So again, this guy, one of them, 1,000 Blows, was on Disney Plus. So yeah, I mean, this guy's not a slouch. His resume is chock full. So I think we're in capable hands with this. So again, all good stuff. I like I said, I feel a little like kind of caught with my pants down because I don't know this writer too well at all. I don't know him at all. But again, I will have to check out a couple things in the near future and see what kind of vibe we get. But I think it's very good news. I think it's a thoughtful pick. I mentioned in a podcast recently that I would have been nervous had they gone out to hire people who are experienced in doing action. I'd rather thoughtful, insightful writing and directing, and the action will sort of take care of itself. You know who your action people are. So yeah, I think so far I'm very happy with the picks so far. The director, the writer, this is all really good stuff. So I'm pretty pleased with this. What else? So yeah, season 2 of 007 Road to a Million. Okay, which actually is supposed to come out, I believe, in August. So it's not just coming; it's done. And yeah, the bold and ambitious second series of the reality competition returns on August 22nd, reinventing the format of Series 1. So are we excited by this? I think that the response from Bond fans for Season 1 of Road to a Million was mixed at best. I think most people agreed it was pretty disappointing. Some of it was just plain boring, and the worst part of it was that it didn't seem to want to embrace. I mean, what a weird oxymoron this show was, because it was touting itself as 007 Road to a Million. There was Bond music. They purposely went to some Bond locations, and yet it seemed to want to distance itself from being a Bond show. They didn't want to. They were so afraid to maybe go overboard with the Bond stuff that you could barely tell it was a Bond show. There were some scenes where, myself as a very hardcore Bond fan is spotting certain Easter eggs in the background. I'm saying, oh, I know what that is. Oh, I know what that is. But they didn't mention it in the show. So your average Joe is not catching this. So, yeah, it was, again, just really weird. It's funny how you can detect the mood and the feelings of the people behind the camera when it comes to their relationship with James Bond. Do we want to push this as a James Bond show? Should we be embarrassed that it's a James Bond show? So anyway, that was season 1, and of course, when I say it was boring, I mean that finale was just dreadful and so disappointing. Because they were in Switzerland. You could tell that the big finale was probably supposed to happen in Piz Gloria. I mean, the whole time I'm saying to myself, "Oh my God, they're gonna go to Piz Gloria. This is gonna be great." And then nobody made it, and it was just, and again, that whole finale of them clicking the laser guns. Come on, guys, shoot guns that make noises. I want something that is visual and audio exciting. Yeah, click, 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 and nobody did it. It was like, oh, okay, that's that. So yeah, not exactly rave reviews for the first season, but I will say I didn't hate it. Not exactly a glowing endorsement, but I didn't hate it, and I did not feel that my time was wasted watching it. So I will definitely be checking out season 2, but I will also say that if season 2 is very close to season 1, it might be the last time I watch it. I mean, again, you slap 007 on anything, and I'll probably check it out. But I will not be excited for another season if it's much the same. Interesting comment, though, in the press release. It says reinventing the format of Series 1. It really makes me wonder if they are aware that they didn't quite nail it in the first season, and maybe they're readdressing certain things, which I hope is the case. They say in the article, by the way, the award-winning actor Brian Cox is back as the controller, overseeing a new cast of everyday heroes. Great, sounds good. He seemed to be cut out for this, but although I thought his interaction in the show was a little odd. I wasn't exactly controlling anything. I just felt like we kept cutting back to him making observations or whatever, but whatever. This time around, 8 pairs of ordinary people embark on a thrilling 007-inspired global adventure which takes them from Bangkok's Sin Sathorn Tower to shark-infested waters in the Bahamas. Hey, I like that. They face epic challenges testing skills and relationships, including facing live scorpions in Thailand, firing guns in an historic hacienda in Mexico, and braving dizzying alpine cable cars. So obviously that's speaking to a lot of the Bond elements that we are familiar with, so that sounds pretty cool. So again, fingers crossed. I'll just say fingers crossed that it's a little bit better than the first season, and should at least be a mildly fun watch. So that's that. That's all I got to say about that. Let's just hope it's a little better than the first season. But what else happened in July? I went to see On Her Majesty's Secret Service with a bunch of Bond friends who were locals, and it was absolutely fantastic. I went with Dave Zaritsky, Michael Poplowski, Ryan from Analyze This, Mr. Bond, and Clyde, who again have basically become staples at all the gather-alls and the local gatherings. We had a lot of fun. Went to a very nice dinner in Doylestown, PA. Very nice restaurant. And then we headed over to watch the movie. And I have to say, this was not the first time that I've seen On Her Majesty's Secret Service on the big screen. I've seen it actually a couple times now. In one case, it was an actual film print, which was pretty exciting. And I thought visually it was amazing watching that on the big screen. I thought the scenes of George Lazenby fighting in the water, the light reflecting off the water was phenomenal on the big screen on a print. I've also seen it at smaller little screening rooms where I'm 90% sure they used a Blu-ray. But this time was great, and I kind of found myself. It was sort of weird. I found myself noticing more things that I probably have seen before, maybe forgot or didn't notice before. Simple things like the opening shot of Bond driving along the road and he lights a cigarette. You can see like kind of there's a little bit of a red glow on his face. And it made me realize, every single shot in this film was done with great care. I mean, there were some incredibly competent people working on this film. Peter Hunt, John Glenn, all of them, they were such consummate professionals, and they really poured their heart and soul into this film, making sure that, I walked out of the film remembering why this is probably my all-time favorite Bond film of all time. On Her Majesty's Secret Service and Casino Royale basically share the top spot, and they will kind of maybe back and forth some days depending on my mood. But before Casino came out, On Her Majesty's Secret Service has long been my all-time favorite James Bond film, and watching it again made me remember why. The story is so perfectly balanced. It has all of the elements of a great Ian Fleming James Bond story, and again the care and the craftsmanship that went into making this film is just phenomenal. Some things I think we've seen it so many times that we probably don't notice it anymore. But honestly, this film was so well done. It really did just blow my mind, and it kind of rekindled my love for this film. So that was a really fun experience. I'm glad it happened. Thank you to Dave Zaritsky for sort of letting us know that was happening and putting together a nice evening. Again, dinner beforehand, drinks afterwards. We ended up at a bar nearby. I think it was called Frost, which it was funny because the inside almost looked like it could have been Piz Gloria. There were screens, big screen TVs all around that were showing scenes of what looks like the Swiss Alps, like just these nice, beautiful drone shots through the mountain, the snow-capped mountaintops. And I'm thinking, boy, if we planned this could not have worked out better. Really, really made for a nice evening with, again, a great bunch of guys, and I had fun. And I've been saying too, I like that, ever since the gather-alls and the big explosion of a lot of these get-togethers, I have more local Bond friends now. So little things like this, spur of the moment, are possible. So it's nice. And that was July. That was my July. So what's coming next? Well, the next thing on the docket is the launch of Being James Bond Volume 1, the second edition. the big launch event. And by the way, there are still some seats available or some tickets available. If you're interested, please check my socials and Dave Zaritsky's socials for a link if you're interested in going to this. If you're going to the Thunderbolt screening on the 16th, please consider coming to the book launch. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. I know it's going to be a lot of fun, and I'm wickedly excited for this. Again, it's August 16th at 11 a.m. at a place called The Vault in Yardley, PA. And it should be a lot of fun. I've got a stack of books I'm looking at that that we're gonna sell at the event, and Q&A, food, cocktails. It'll be a lot of fun. So, and again, Dave Zaritsky is not a slouch when it comes to putting together events. So, I'm really, really excited for this. It's so funny because I thought that this was going to be really easy to put this book together. Again, I had finished volume 2 and was just going to revisit this one, just to kind of, maybe cross the T's and dot the I's a little bit. But I've honestly been on this since January, since early mid-January. I've been on this pretty hard, working on this rework of this book, the second edition. So, it is quite a bit different in many, many places. So I hope you will enjoy it. But again, that's coming up August 16th. That is my next event, is that weekend. We have, again, David Zaritsky's putting together a Thunderbolt screening that evening in the oldest movie theater in the country, I believe. So, the whole weekend, I'm really looking forward to that weekend. It's going to be a lot of fun. And again, if you are interested, please come visit. I will probably be live streaming from the event. So if you cannot make it, if you're interested in watching it, I'll make sure that that's posted well in advance so you can check that out. I guess that's about it. I will wrap this up quickly so I can get this posted. And enjoy the rest of your summer. I hope to see many of you in August, in mid-August. I cannot believe it's August already. It's August 1st as I'm recording this. But have a great rest of the summer. I will see you soon. And as always, keep living like James Bond.